So I have here in front of me the LED circuit that we created last week, and I just need to make one small change to it. So I'm going to take this end of the red wire that's attached to the 5-volt pin out of that pin, and I'm going to instead place it into the pin that's labeled pin 7 over here on the other side. Now what pin 7 is, it's a programmable pin that we can control using Ardublock. So we can control by coding whether we have our LED on or off, as opposed to the 5-volt pin, which only has it on constantly. I also want to make sure that I plug in my Barnabas Noggin into my USB port before we can begin coding. So here I am in Ardublock, and I just want to go over some of the basics with you. So I'm going to start by going to the control pin, or I'm sorry, the control tab, and I'm going to grab out of that a loop do. Now every Ardublock program needs one and only one loop do. Without a loop do, your program will not work. So after that, I'm going to go to the pins tab, and I'm going to grab selected digital pin, or set digital pin, sorry, and I'm going to place it inside the loop do. It should just click into place like that. And I'm going to change that from 1 to 7, because 7 is the pin that we have our LED hooked up to. Now after that, I'm going to go back to control. I'm going to grab delay millisecond, and I'm going to place it right in there, right underneath set digital pin. So notice it says 1000, so this is having it delay for a full second before doing anything else. So I'm going to go back to pins, grab another set digital pin. So what I want to do is I want to make the LED blink. So this one I'm going to have on low, and then I'm just going to have another delay millisecond pin here. So what this code does is it turns the LED on, and then it keeps it on for a second, and then it turns the LED off, and then it keeps it off for a second. And because it's in a loop do, once it gets to the end, it goes back up and starts all over again. So what this code does is it makes your LED blink forever. Now, a couple other things I can do in Ardublock. Let's say, for example, I wanted to duplicate this for whatever reason. I could clone it. And let's say I wanted to duplicate it for the purposes of making it blink for a shorter amount of time. So what I have here now is I have it blinks once for a second, and then it blinks again for a fifth of a second, and then it does it over again and over and over. I can also, if I would like to, right-click and add a comment. So comments can be useful if other people are going to be viewing your code. It helps them understand what you are trying to achieve with the code. So for example, I can say the set digital pin high is supposed to turn the LED on. And then afterwards, this delay millisecond will keep the LED on. So I'll go ahead and write that. Keeps LED on for 1 second. So you don't necessarily need to do this. Sometimes it's helpful, sometimes it's not. I'm going to go ahead and delete the comments for now because I don't need these in particular. So one last thing I want to show you is another block, the repeat block, because the repeat block is necessary for some of the coding challenges for this week. So if I, let's say, do this, so I have the different blinks separated. I have the long blink in one repeat block and the short blink in another repeat block. What this is going to do is it's going to blink slowly 5 times before moving on and blinking quickly 5 times, at which point it will reach the end of the loop do, and then it'll go back to the top and start all over again.
Before I leave you guys today, I want to show you how you can upload your Ardublock code on your Barnabas Noggin. So first I want to show you how you can save your files. So you just press the Save As, and I have created my own folder, an Ardublock folder within my documents. And I typically save all my files there. So you can just press, here I'll just be overwriting my blink LED code. I have here a very simple blinking LED code that we can just take a look at afterwards. So then I want to go into the base Arduino window, and I want to go to Tools because I need to check a couple of things beforehand. So I want to make sure that I have a port selected, So I do have one selected, and then I want to make sure that I have the appropriate board selected. And the Barnabas Noggin uses an Arduino Nano board, so I do have the correct one selected there as well. So we're ready to upload to Arduino. And as soon as I press upload to Arduino, I get this little pop-up asking me to save the file as an Arduino file. So what's happening is essentially Arduino is acting as a translator between Ardublock and your Noggin. So it wants to save its own version of the file. Because we've already saved a file in Ardublock, we don't need to do this if we don't feel like it. So I'm going to go ahead and say cancel. You can see we have a progress bar here. It went really fast that time, but you can only disconnect your Barnabas Noggin from your USB after you see that bar disappear. We have no errors down here, so it looks like it all uploaded correctly. So why don't we take a look at our handiwork?
So here's the result of the code we've just uploaded, doing exactly what we expect it to. It is blinking, staying on for a second, and then turning off for a second. And remember, because it's in that loop do, it's going to keep doing that repeatedly until we disconnect power from it. You'll also notice I haven't disconnected the USB yet, so the way it's getting power is through my computer. I can instead unplug it and use a battery to supply power to it. So there you go.